There is one. There are two questions that got to my mind in your answer. So the first question is, like, being a student itself, I would love to have a 1 year drop if my college allows, right?
Right.
So in BITS, what are the criteria to take that 1 year drop?
There's actually no criteria as such. You must be working on a startup, or you should have. So once someone comes to BITS, they have nothing else to do outside.
So welcome to another episode of Behind the Boardroom. Joining us is Sachin Arya, who is CEO of Incubation and Entrepreneurship BITS Group. So how are you feeling, sir, to be in this podcast right now?
Thank you, Ritesh. A wonderful feeling. Love to be on this show. And I hope we make some interesting conversation today.
So starting off, I just want to know something personally, and I hope every other person watching this also wants to know this. Like BITS has a separate reputation. Like there are more than 70,000 institutions in this country, but BITS is completely different. Like people are ready to leave their IIT seats to go into BITS. So what do you think? What makes BITS unique than every other institute of this country, or I should say of the world?
I think wonderful question, Ritesh. I think first off, so BITS Pilani. Pilani is a town located in a very small village, which is 200 kilometers away from Jaipur and Delhi, which are the major cities. So once someone comes to BITS, they have nothing else to do outside, and that is what is the secret sauce for BITS Pilani. Let me tell you, because students are not able to go out and do things that they otherwise would do in cities. So as a result, they inculcate habits, or they inculcate interest, or pursue their interest. So that builds a lot of character, leadership, and they become entrepreneurial. In fact, with this experience, and also they form very strong bonds. So all this leads to BITsians becoming a well-rounded, I would say, leaders, and that shows in the workplace as well. A lot of them have become CEOs. In fact, BITS has more than 6,000 alumni who have become CEOs, and around 7,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and around
these numbers are crazy.
Absolutely, these and 7,000 have become entrepreneurs. And if you look at overall number of startups started by alumni of institutions in India, BITS Pilani is at number 3, just after IIT Delhi and IIT Bombay, in terms of number of startups started by their alumni. You know, in BITS, there's no curfew for both boys and girls. As long as they stay in the campus, they can be out of the campus for whatever time. There's no curfew, there's no returning time. So there are policies and flexibilities in the systems that allow BITsians to grow and become independent thinkers. So I feel these are some of the things that probably a lot of people don't know. And that's what I think contributes to shaping a BITsian and creating a charm which is comparable to other institutions in the country.
Well, when you said like no curfew policy for girls and boys, right? So there's one more thing that I wanted to know. Like, when you give some people a lot of independence, so they might be used for some other purposes as well, rather than growing and being productive. So how do you guys handle this? What is the mentality there? Like, we should not misuse those independence that we have got. So, because in the other private colleges, there are a lot of restrictions. My personal college has a lot of restrictions.
Okay, so now I think you also know that BITS has expanded to 4 locations, in fact 5 locations now. We started in Pilani in 64. The second campus came in Dubai in 2000, Goa 2004, Hyderabad 2008, and very recently in 2020 in Mumbai. So
amazing, sir.
So let me just tell you this. I think Goa is the only campus which has a breathalyzer at the gate. So,
oh my God, sir.
So I think there are challenges. I think when you treat people as adult, as you rightly said, there are both sides, right? People enjoy the freedom and they respect it and they become better. And some people, try to take advantage of it. And trust me, I think you cannot blame the students. The kind of schooling system and the culture of coaching has developed. I think students have to study a lot. In 11th, 12th, I think they study so much for these entrance examinations that after coming to college, it feels like, okay, they have finally got the freedom. So I think a lot of people, I think, just wind down a little longer in that process. And I think that kind of results in disciplinary cases. We do have disclosed, and some of them actually go to academic counseling also if they're not able to get CGPAs. But I think that those are cases which are less in number. Most of the students, I think, appreciate the open culture and freedom that they get. And I think there's a good peer-to-peer system between the students themselves. So there's no administration involvement in that. The seniors actually kind of coach the junior students, incoming students, very well. So they hand over a lot of responsibilities as well of clubs and societies. So I think there's a good system which is developed informally, which is serving us well.
So there is one more question. It was a headline basically. Like BITS allows students to take a 1-year drop to work on their startups and their venture. Is it true?
Absolutely. And let me tell you that 3 students have already taken that plunge. In fact, there's one student who has already taken this plunge in the first year itself. He completed the first year.
First year itself?
Yes. And pretty soon you'll hear.
Oh my God.
Pretty soon you'll hear about him on our social media channels. So he's starting his own. He's working towards algorithmic trading company of his own. So he's right now focusing on building the nuts and bolts of that. Of course, he has other co-founders as well. But when he was doing it, I had just one question: that you're doing it too early. I think at least you should get some education. But he said, my idea is ripe and I really want to take this plunge. So I said, okay, if you have decided, then the policy is already there. So we cannot stop you. So now he's enjoying his 1-year break. I'm not saying enjoying, but I'm sure like he would be working hard and we'll see something of it out of it soon. So yeah, this is true. The 1-year policy, there was a lot of debate internally whether we should do it or not. But I think just to promote and take the entrepreneurial culture to the next level, I think we need to do we need to take certain bold steps. And if students are able to make something out of it, nothing better than that.
So there are 2 questions that got to my mind in your answer. So the first question is, like, being a student itself, I would love to have a 1-year drop if my college allows, right? So in BITS, what are the criteria to take that 1-year drop?
There's actually no criteria as such. You must be working on a startup, or you should have some orientation or some pathway towards startup. So I'll tell you, there are some organizations, if I can take the name of these organizations, they offer residency programs, right? So Entrepreneur First, Antler, they have these residency programs where they put together a cohort of like-minded individuals, experts, with different skills. And they believe that, getting them together, they will be able to spark the entrepreneurial bug in them, and probably ventures will come out of that, right? So if someone is accepted into such a program, or someone who has a good idea and they can showcase that they will be working on this idea, those are the only requirements. We don't have any other requirement of CGPA, of having completed so many courses, and etc.
It's amazing, sir. This is what makes BITS great, I guess. So coming down to the second question that I want to ask, like, a lot of people, not from BITS only, across the world, wants to start their venture, wants to start their business and everything. So is experience mandatory? Like, many people say you should first go do a job, be there for 2 to 3 years. Then if you get an idea, then you should start your own business. But some people start from scratch. So what are your thoughts on this?
Actually, there's no definite answer to this, Ritesh. We have seen, or at least, I've come across entrepreneurs who were very good right from their dorms. We have companies like Pixels, which is a space company. You require a lot of knowledge, right? Like to build a space company. But that company was born in a hostel, right? And now they're launching satellites. So there's this company which requires a lot of fundamental knowledge and expertise, which got started out of a hostel. And there are other companies, which were started after 2 years or 3 years of the journey. I can take example of Grow.
Mm-hmm.
Grow's founder Ishan, he worked at ICICI Bank and he also worked at other places,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually he founded that company. So, and he has become successful at that.
There is a phrase that coaches don't play, right? And you being a torch bearer of this incubation cell and everything, so there must be a many startups that have nurtured under you, right? So can you name some of the startups that went to the market and then was a absolute boom that
Boom in terms
was
of
nurtured under
boom
you?
or boom.
We cannot discuss this boom, but we can discuss this boom.
Okay. No, I wouldn't take anyone's credit here. I think there have been startups which I would say I have a very small role to play. I don't
Yeah,
play a big role in terms of what startups do. What I do is enable. Okay, my role is an enabler role where I am able to connect dots, which sometimes the student entrepreneurs are not able to see. So you asked the question previously, right? The student versus work experience people. So
yeah.
so work experience people with work experience build their own networks. At least I
Mm-hmm.
presume that they should, or they have. So
Yeah,
entrepreneur journey is a very very I would say it is a journey which you also take individually alone, and you also need a lot of people around you, a network, people who will help you. So I cannot take that individual journey with someone, otherwise I'll become a co-founder.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so but the journey, the bigger part of the journey, or where the network connections are required. So my role is more that.
Talking about bits, the average package that all the general audience sees fairly high. It's
Right.
very high, right? And that you have just told me, like the first thing that you ask questions, are you ready to sacrifice your placements? So I want to know
Right.
the mindset of the students there. Like you are willing to sacrifice very healthy package in order to pursue your startup. So what is the mindset of the students right there? What is the
Yeah,
mindset? Are they
that's
persistent or are they passionate? Or is there anything else?
no, I think this is a very, very interesting study. In fact, I'm also interested in this question. What makes them leave like a package of 20 lakhs, or maybe sometimes even more? If they're computer science, I think crazy packages. Other streams,
Yes.
not so much. But yeah, I think on an average, they get around 20 lakhs kind of packages. And they're also spending a lot of money on their education, right? The cost of
Yeah.
education at BITS is around 20-25 lakhs. What I feel is that because this DNA that gets built within BITS, the culture that is there prevalent, I think they get influenced in a right way or wrong way. I'm not sure, but they become risk takers. So I think there's something that changes over the 3-4 years journey, that they are inspired by the role models that BITS has produced, or even otherwise outside entrepreneurs, and they're ready to take that plunge. And some of them know, and the smart ones know that if they fail, they will still have a job, because a lot of companies
Hmm.
now, or a lot of startups actually prefer people with entrepreneurial experience, for
Yeah.
roles like founder's office, or even product management roles, or biz dev roles. So I think the ecosystem outside has also kind of matured. So this combined both these things, the culture and DNA of BITS campuses, the opportunities available, also the safety
Yeah.
net which is available outside for entrepreneurs now. I think both these things have propelled a lot of founders to take that risk. That okay, I'm okay not doing this job, which is 20 lakhs worth. In fact, let me tell
Hmm.
you a story. There is this founder, Weber, who's now giving 20 lakhs jobs to other college students, right? And he's just 23, right? He
Oh
just
my
graduated
God.
2 years ago from college. He's just raised close to $1 million in funding, and he's hiring people who need this job, and he's paying them 20 lakh rupees. So So that's a great story, right? So these stories inspire a lot of juniors, I think. So I think it's both, internal and external factors that are leading to this.
So it was some amazing insights from you. So another question coming out there, like most of the people want to know, like I have also pitched in front of many people, and there are young entrepreneurs who have also pitched in front of many people, but most of them actually don't know what the investors are looking for. So what are your recommendations for the students who are making presentation or pitching in front of investors or incubators? So what will be your personal trip, or what actually you're looking for in that presentation or in the founder?
Yeah, so at early stage, we are not looking at, the cost economics and a lot of these market factors. What we're looking at essentially is, how much passionate the founders are. And these are no, not particular order, but 3 or 4 factors we look at, what we look at when we look to give funding to idea stage investors. So we
Yeah.
definitely look at founders, their pedigree or their preparedness in terms of solving that problem. The idea itself, whether that has potential or that has a market, certain market. We're not really sure at this point what market it will be, because it can actually pivot to become a completely different go-to-market like strategy. And they may start with the B2B, but eventually it can become like a D2C idea or something else. So we do look at whether there's a market available for the idea, that the problem that they're going to solve. Third, we also look at in terms of whether they're planning or how they want to go about is clear in their mind. So if they're building a technology product, do they have understanding of how it will pan out? How will they develop their MVP and who they will test it with? So clarity in those terms, and then why do they need funds? What the funding will do, whether they want to hire more interns or they want to buy an equipment. So we also look at that, and finally we look at whether there's a certain element of innovation or not. So are they trying to
Okay.
do re-engineer something, or they are trying to build completely new innovation. So we do give more emphasis on completely new innovation, but we're also mindful that sometimes incremental changes can also become good businesses. So we try to see how their incremental changes are going to affect the market and the existing players in that. So these 3 4 things we look at. But let me tell you, most students are now thinking in terms of how can they make buyer and seller meet.
That's some amazing insights. I'm pretty confident that the people will get to know a lot with this question. They will know what are the things they have to focus on and what are the things they have to take care of. We have talked enough about startup success and thing. I want to know something about the failures. So being a founder or being an entrepreneur, when do you think is the right time to stop?
That's a very, very difficult question for me to answer. Again, I'm speaking from my experience of having seen certain companies uh, fail, or I should not use the word fail. I should use the word unviable. They become
Yeah.
unviable for either the products to sell, or the customers are not deriving the value they should. Hence, the customers have stopped buying the product or using the product or service. So one definite um, factor is, as I said, like if the customers are not, there's no uptake on the product or service that you're trying to sell. For example, let me break it down in terms of an example. So let's say you have an app on which you require signups, okay? And the user signups, there has to be some daily activity on the app. So if you're seeing that there is no new customers being added, new subscribers being added to the app, or you don't have daily activity on the app, so I think you will find out that there's a problem. And I think if you do a root cause analysis and find out why this is happening, I think probably you will figure out, okay, there's something wrong with the acquisition of customers or in terms of what we have to offer. So I think if the customers stop they stop looking at your product, or they're not using it, I think that is one sure shot signal as
Mhm.
to your company probably will not survive.
How to find a right co-founder?
Yeah, I think this is a very, very big pain point for everyone, not only me
Yes,
or
sir.
the people who are in ecosystem. But I think it's a very, very big pain point. But let me give you two like stories of how people found co-founders and how they became, they're running a successful company now. So there's this
Mhm.
company which works on mental health called Evolve,
Mhm.
and very good co-founders, Rohan and Anshul. Anshul was building this company. We had this idea, and he started building that company. Anshul and Rohan met during a wine tasting event, and
Okay.
yeah, Rohan started uh, working for that company. He worked for that company for 1 year, and eventually was elevated to a co-founder role. So the learning that I got from this sort of example is that you have to work your way to understand both the founder and the company's vision and principles, whether they match with you.
Yeah.
So it is not that on a day one someone can become a co-founder by virtue of
Yes.
whatever their skills. They have to align with both the co-founder and the main founder and the company. Why that is important is because this is a very, very painful thing that you're doing, right? Like building a startup and taking it forward. It's an extremely painful, extremely uh, humbling journey. So you need to be clear whether, as a outsider, if you are joining someone as a co-founder, be very clear that you espouse to the cause. And for the founder who's taking a co-founder, he also needs to respect that, okay, this person is coming at a co-founder level. Now the strategy that I was building or I was all alone doing, somebody will have a say in that, and I'll have to listen to that strategy as well, and probably act on that. Sometimes, in disagreement to my own thinking. So I think it's a very, very difficult thing to accept someone as a co-founder, also or to become a co-founder in some company. So some people joke that it is almost like a marriage, sort
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
thing. You try to court someone, and then you have a courtship period, and then eventually you say yes or no to the person, right? So it's almost like that, and I completely agree with that process. So this is one model of co-founders coming together, giving it time, eventually settling down on a certain terms and conditions. It's another way that a lot of students do. In case of students, generally what they do is they try to find friends,
Mhm.
who has like certain skills that they don't have. For example, someone who has an idea doesn't know technology. They'll try to get a friend
Mhm.
who knows technology, and I think they don't realize that their friendship is going to come to a test where it can break
Yeah.
also, right?
Yeah.
So when you do that, I think the chances of success are little low, because you're not aligned, you're not tested each other, and you straight away gave them a co-founder sort of status. So I think we advise against going to an easy route of finding a co-founder in your own network, like one arm length away, your direct connections.
Yeah.
Try and not do that. Like if you are working, like studying in the same college, then that's fine. You guys come together.
Mhm.
Even there are a lot of problems, but absolutely, like if they're not studying in your college and they're your friends, I think it's very difficult to strike that balance of becoming a co-founder, having those conversations in the company with your friends, and decide walking down a path to take your startup forward. So I would suggest, like, if the co-founder are coming together, I think they need to give each other time. The main founder has to give time and freedom, or to explore, to let this person explore, whether the company is for him. And at the same time, they should also, like, the founder should also test whether the person is right, the values match, the vision or the goal match, the speed of execution matches. Because ultimately, you are doing something uh, which requires a lot of effort from everyone. And being a co-founder, you have to lead by example. If you have interns or your employees, they will look up to you for everything. And if you guys are not together or not in talking terms, or fighting, or seen openly uh, sort of disagreeing with each other and not coming to a conclusion, I think it will send a wrong signal down the company. So I think it takes a little bit of doing, and but eventually you should be able to settle down. But it's a difficult thing. It's a very difficult thing, Ritesh. I think. So my suggestion would be to give it time and not just give a title of co-founder because they're coming with X skill, right?
So, sir, there's one more question. Not everyone can be in BITS or IITs or NITs, but they have a dream, they have a vision. So, what will be your tip to those people, those students who want to dive into this entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah. So Ritesh, I think Government of India has done a phenomenal job of opening up incubators and providing them funding, and we are one such beneficiary of that. So if your college doesn't have an incubation center or incubation cell, you can reach out to any college nearby or any university, whether it is in your city or anywhere in India. And these incubators will love to help you with your funding requirements, or with providing you a mentor and providing you a pathway to your to your destination. So the role of incubators actually is to nurture such kind of startups. And now more and more focus is given to tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 city entrepreneurs. So I think don't worry about it. I think just go to Startup India and find out which all incubators are there. And you will see one incubator very close to your city, or if you aspire for some other incubator, I think you can directly reach out to them. So some other entities which are doing this are Department of Science and Technology, uh, uh, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Ministry of Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises. Now, in fact, Ministry of Defense is also doing it. Ministry of Agriculture is doing it. Startup India, I already said. So if you go to any of these websites, I think you will get all the information about the incubators. And there are a lot of grants available to the entrepreneurs. You can avail of such grants to kickstart your journey. And incubators will also provide you all the help that you need in terms of setting up a company or opening a bank account for your company. So all that help is at one place. You just have to reach out, and all information now is available on all these government websites.
So, there's one more question. It's quite on the sarcastic note. Why are bits so expensive? Why the pieces are so high?
Yeah, it's a very painful situation for us also. But let me tell you this: cost of education at IIT, and these are public reports. Cost of education for one student at IIT is more than 6 lakh rupees.
Yeah.
But the fees for IIT is 2 lakh rupees, tuition fees. I'm talking.
Mhm. Per semester.
Where is this per year?
Per
Okay,
year.
and bits is at around now, I think 5 lakhs per year.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
where is this 4 lakh or 4 lakh plus coming from? It's coming from the government.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, so NITs, IITs, all the central universities, state universities get their money from the government. They don't have to depend on the
Mhm.
fees. And if you have to look at the pie chart, I think very small the overall budget of IIT, very small number would be from the student fees. It will be largely from government grants or the industry grants or alumni grants. For BITS, that's not the case. We are not
Mhm.
funded by Aditya Birla Group. Everybody thinks that it's a Birla Institute of Technology and Sciences, so Birlas must be funding it. Birlas must be funding it. That's not the case. BITS is self-sufficient from I think 1989 onwards. Uh, Whatever fee we get, we use it for our expansion, running our operations, paying our faculty,
Mhm.
paying our staff, expanding to other geographies. As we have done in last 60 years, we have expanded to 5 locations. So how
Yeah.
did we do that? We did that with clever, financial management. We were able to save a lot of money, and we must credit, like I must credit the work integrated learning program division of BITsians, because
Yeah.
that's one area that has been doing very successfully and helping us keep the fees low actually, or at the level of 5 lakhs. Otherwise, our fees would have been quite high.
So don't mind me asking this question, but I was quite curious. So we are talking about the salaries of the faculties and the staff members. So what is your salary, sir?
It's not very high. Ritesh, it's not very high. Yeah, so I do get paid for what I do. It's a very competitive salary. I can say this, that the salary that I get would be sort of highest in the ecosystem, because
Highest in the ecosystem.
yeah, it would be like in the top salaries, because most of the government institutions are not able to pay staff this kind of salary. So I would say that my salary would be on higher side in the ecosystem, but if you compare it to the industry, it will not be very high. It will be at the lower end. But from the educational institution perspective, I am paid a very good salary.
Like if I have to ask, how many iPhones per month?
Oh my God, that's a calculation that I have to do. But I do have an iPhone. I have an iPhone.
So how many iPhones can you afford per month?
Not really. Like I can afford one iPhone every whatever 3-4 years.
So thank
No,
you
but
so much for that.
yeah. So I
I
let me
was
also
trying
tell
my
you this.
best to get something out of you.
No. So it's a good salary. So let me tell you, incubation salaries are very low. The incubators pay. So small incubators pay 12 lakhs rupees a year to their incubator CEO. Okay.
Okay.
Some of the good ones, they pay around 18 to 20 lakhs.
So last but not the least. So this question is from my heart, and obviously you would love to answer this also. Which is the thing that you love the most about your job, apart from the salary?
Yeah, so that's a very important question, Ritesh. I ask, when I'm doing this job, or I've been doing this job for quite some time, why I'm doing this. So my why
Yeah.
is that when you talk to students, or when you interact with students, you have a challenge which is new every time. You cannot
Yeah.
build one process to deal with this or to manage this. You have
Yeah.
to you have to come up with a new solution or new way of thinking every time. Because so you said,
Yeah.
right, like I think in the beginning of the podcast, I think you said something about how do you mentor, or what is your
Yeah.
role. So I do not have a template. Like, even if there's like one sector based company, I cannot give a template to them that, okay, do
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, and then you will see something. So the aspect that attracts me most is that the challenges are new every day, and the
Mhm.
students who are coming every year are also new. It's not the same set of
Mhm.
students who are studying, right? Every year,
Mhm.
new students are coming, the new knowledge is coming, new experiences are coming. So the job presents a lot of challenges which are
Mhm.
to be dealt in a very different manner. When you talk to your stakeholders, they're also expecting a lot of new things, right? Stakeholders means government, who are funding you, or alumni who are funding you, or involved in their ecosystem in some manner, or the BITS leadership. So everyone has like very different set of expectations, and a lot of new energy keeps coming in. I think
Yeah.
that's what keeps us at bay. That you also are learning every day.
You are just an inspiration now for the people who are going to watch this. Like I personally have learned, like in the last 1 hour, if I have to say, I've got some really good insights, and everything like got transparent to me. All the questions that I had in mind. To be honest, I'll be honest here. I had a bunch of questions which I've shared with you, but if you have noticed, I haven't asked none,
Absolutely.
because listening to your answers, new questions emerge to my mind, and these are my personal doubts as well, and the common doubts as well, and I'm pretty sure most of the people will get to know a lot from your views and from your experiences. If you have any remarks on this interview, or if you have any remarks on me being your host or anything you can just say. Would love to have some words regarding this ecosystem that we are in right now.
No, Ritesh, I think thank you first of all for hosting me on your podcast.
Thank you so much, sir.
Love to be here, and I love the conversation. I hope we connect more often, and you connect with more people in the ecosystem,
Yeah.
and try to
Yes,
understand
sir.
and gain, learn from their perspective as well. And to you personally, I think you are still studying and doing this podcast. So there's an entrepreneurial streak in you as well. I think
Thank
you
you
will
so
do.
much, sir. It means a lot, sir.
Yeah, I think you'll definitely do something. Keep up the spirit, Ritesh. I think what makes entrepreneurs take is that they are restless. They want to do something which is they see as of value, or at least they want to solve a problem. So I think what you're doing is also solving a problem of information, right? Like a lot
Yes,
of
sir.
things we talked about today. I think there are a lot of resources available. People don't know about them, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
so through this podcast, if even if one person gets to know about how should they go about doing a startup, I think we would have done our job, right? So yeah, so I think great job, Ritesh. Congratulations to you, and I wish you all the best for your
Thank you so much,
podcast.
sir. So this was Sachin Arya with us, the CEO of Incubation and Entrepreneurial Department of BITS Group. It was great having you, sir. And we hope this is not our last conversation. We are expecting you to appear more and more, and we are trying our best to get most out of you. So thank you so much, sir, for being on this podcast. And it was a lovely conversation. And have a great day, sir. And thank you so much once again. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much, sir.
Ritesh. Thank you, Ritesh. Thanks.
Thank you
All
so
the
much,
best
sir.
to you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, sir.